General Synod is the representative gathering of the United Church of Christ that meets at regular intervals. Right now it meets every 2 years, an odd numbered years. Who goes to General Synod? It's comprised of voting delegates from the conferences who choose from persons from local churches, but delegates are actually delegates from the conference. And the number of delegates that each conference has is dependent on the membership of the conference, but no conference has fewer than 3 delegates. There are also voting delegates from what's called historically underrepresented groups in the United Church of Christ. And so each of those groups has 2 delegates, I think. And there are associate delegates who have voice without vote. Also delegates that are voting delegates are members of the boards of directors of the United Church of Christ. So that's who goes to General Synod. And the voting delegates they generally come in at around 716 or something like that. But the number of delegates and the range of the numbers that can be are defined in the bylaws. What does General Synod do? According to the Constitution and bylaws, there are really a number of limited things that the General Synod has to do. The General Synod elects the officers. The General Synod elects the boards of directors. The General Synod helps to maintain a national headquarters and a treasury to receive the OCWM. The General Synod can change the Constitution and bylaws. Those are some of the constitutionally mandated actions and responsibilities and powers of the General Synod. But General Synod is a lot more than just what's mandated in the Constitution and bylaws. General Synod is a place that people come to experience the wideness of the United Church of Christ, where our values and our vision and our mission is reaffirmed. It helps people see the United Church of Christ beyond their local church. Local churches can tell you a lot, and you experience a lot about the United Church of Christ through the local church, and even through the conference. But it's really when you get to the General Synod that you can see the diversity of the United Church of Christ. Not only diversity in races and cultures, but diversity in worship experiences, diversity of thought, diversity in size of churches. So General Synod helps expand the horizon of what it means to be the United Church of Christ. And it helps people, I think, see that they're connected to something bigger than what they know of the United Church of Christ. My guess is if you ask most people to talk about the General Synod, they don't really talk about the resolutions. They don't really talk about the business of the General Synod. They talk about the experience of the General Synod, the transformational experience that's possible by being in an environment that's bigger than they ever imagined. One of the things that the General Synod is known for is resolutions. So the General Synod votes a number of resolutions, and those are statements that come from the General Synod, and they are statements that reflect the thinking of the General Synod, and they are offered to local churches. The General Synod speaks to a local church, not for a local church. Sometimes people read about resolutions and they wonder, where did they come from? Well, resolutions come to the General Synod. They can come from a local church. They can come from 10 or more delegates from at least two different conferences. They can come to the General Synod from a conference. They can come from an association. They can come from the board of directors of the United Church of Christ. So they come from somewhere. When I was in the national setting, surprisingly, most of the resolutions came from local churches or conferences or associations. Most people think that resolutions came mostly from the national setting, but they really didn't. They come from the people, lay people, pastors who are convicted about something, who are passionate about something, who want their church to kind of weigh in. There are 2 kinds of resolutions. One is a resolution of witness that is really speaking to folks outside the church, and they're really on a moral or social or ethical, something that the church is speaking to the world on. And resolutions of witness, when they are passed, they're passed by a 2/3 majority of the General Synod. So resolutions of witness are speaking to folks outside the church. They may be speaking to the church itself, but also outside. And then there are prudential resolutions that are more, we're speaking to ourselves as the United Church of Christ. So they may be policy statements or guidelines. And those are prudential resolutions that require only a simple majority to pass. You never know what the outcome of a resolution is going to be. Over the years, I was surprised sometimes by a resolution. For instance, there was this one time where there was a resolution that was brought forth that was called the Martin Luther King Picture Project. And the goal was for each local church to have a picture of Martin Luther King in the church somewhere. I don't even think it said where in the church. And that became such a controversial issue that was, what does it mean to hang a picture of Martin Luther King? Is it just an easy statement to say we support racial justice? What does a picture signify? So while some thought this was a no-brainer, it became a huge discussion. Another one that was like that was Clergy Appreciation Day. A resolution was brought forth to have Clergy Appreciation Day, and everybody thought that would be great, a date to say a wonderful, appreciative thought to our clergy. And it was a huge discussion, and a lot of people spoke at the microphone against it. Surprisingly, a lot of clergy were speaking against it, because they felt it was an indication that there's really only one day of appreciation. I think others were thinking it's like Mother's Day. You appreciate your mothers all the time, but you set aside a special day. So the point is, you never really know what's going to happen with a resolution, because once it's written and it goes to the General Synod, it's owned by the General Synod to do whatever they want with it, except you can't turn a resolution around to say exactly the opposite of what the intent was. We had one of those one time that resulted in a change of the standing rules. Perhaps one of the resolutions that was most profound and probably difficult was the resolution in 2005 where the General Synod voted to support marriage equality. That was a very hard decision for the General Synod. I could have never predicted where the General Synod was going to come out on that. It was both a painful experience for some and an incredible moment of grace for others. And the General Synod, I think something happens when people go to the General Synod. You have an opportunity to engage people that are very different from you, very different perspective, very different experience. And you hear the stories of people that can be very different than the stories you hear in your local congregation. And in some ways, it widens your vision. It widens your understanding of church. So sometimes people, I think this happened in 2005 when the General Synod voted really overwhelmingly to support marriage equality. And some folks were worried about when they went home, what are they going to say? How do they explain their vote? Because they may not have come with the intention of supporting marriage equality. But the experience of the General Synod opened their eyes and their hearts in a new way. And the General Synod voted that resolution. And it brought a lot of people to us as the United Church of Christ. It distanced a lot of people because they did not understand how their church got there. So resolutions can have a wonderful impact on the lives of individuals, on the lives of the church. Sometimes people say, do resolutions matter? And my answer to that is yes and no. It depends on what the church does with the resolution. If a resolution is passed on mass incarceration, if the church doesn't take, and I mean churches locally, don't take that resolution to heart, to study it, to speak to it, to own it in some way as their own, then resolutions don't matter. They matter in the fact that they provide direction for the national setting, But since the resolutions you're speaking to a local church, not for a local church, ministry really happens in lots of different settings. And in the United Church of Christ, the local church is the basic unit of mission and ministry. So local churches are key to resolutions making a difference in the world.